Hey guys, it's Courtney here with Your House Fitness, and today we're going to go over how to use a couple myofascial release tools. So we've got our fancy lacrosse ball here, okay, also known as an Indian rubber ball, so whatever you might find it at a Canadian Tire or any type of store. And this is a peanut, so it's basically two lacrosse balls fused together, okay? So these are wonderful tools to loosen up tight muscles. They get a little bit deeper than a foam roller would. So if you're using a foam roller and you've been using it for a little while, and you find that you're not really feeling much, this would be your next progression. So let's start down here. So I'm gonna start with calves just because I'm already seated here. So you can use both tools, but honestly, I'd probably use the peanut for calves. I just find I can control my movement a little bit more. So basically what I'm gonna do is just put my calf in the middle of the peanut, and I'm gonna start just in the middle of my calf, okay? From here, first, I'm just going to use the weight of that one leg, and I'm gonna hoist myself up with my arms, and basically just roll up towards the knee. Do not roll over a joint, or even the underside of a joint, so you're gonna stop just at the top of the calf, just where it meets the knee. And then you're going to basically roll towards the ankle, okay? So anywhere between the knee and the ankle is fair game. Now, if you don't find that this is enough weight for you, so again, most of the time, once you've done this enough, you can usually handle a little bit more. What you're going to do is take your other leg and use the weight of that other leg to give yourself some more weight. So now I'm feeling it, Now, I mean, maybe that's a little too much for me today, but you get the idea that you could use the other leg as weight for leverage to get a little bit deeper into those tissues. A couple other things I like with this one here is if you put the peanut right in the middle of your calf, you can do toe reachers basically. So again, put the weight into the peanut and just point and flex your foot as best you can. If you feel like you don't have a lot of room, like maybe you're bigger than I am, you might want to elevate this up. Textbooks are good, any type of book or platform that you might have just to get yourself up just a little bit. That way you'll have a little bit more room. Like some of you might have noticed my heel keeps hitting the floor. It doesn't bother me too much, but if you find that you just can't seem to get enough leverage, just lift this off the ground like a couple of inches and you'll be good to go, okay? So rolling, and then we've got our point and flex exercise. And usually what I'll suggest is you do maybe 4 or 5 of those. Move an inch lower or higher on the calf. Do it again, okay? So basically stripping the tissue as best you can. And then you can play here. This is called shearing. So you can do shearing on all sorts of different muscles. But basically, if you know that the muscle fibers are running this way, shearing just basically is going side to side, kind of like you're playing a guitar, if you will. And it just looks like this. Oh, it feels so good. So that's basically a couple of ideas that you could use a peanut for to loosen up tight calves, okay? If this is all you have is a lacrosse ball, by all means, go for it. It's just going to be a little bit more challenging to make sure that you don't lose control of the ball. So if you go nice and slow, you should be fine. But the same thing, you're just rolling up and down the calf. And same thing, you can still do shearing, just be careful that you don't lose control over it. And then same thing, if you got trigger points, like when I was running a couple races about 5 years ago, I kept getting this one trigger point here. It was just the way that I was running, but point is, it was like a Charlie horse. I would just dig into it with the lacrosse ball and just basically do that point and flex exercise. Oh, yeah, it's something. So definitely hit a good trigger point with the lacrosse ball versus the peanut. All right, so that's calves. So you can move up now. So you want to get into your hamstrings. My suggestion again would be this guy as well. We'll go over that in a second. So if you're on the floor, you just put the peanut underneath. Again, make sure you're not underneath the knee. So start about an inch above the knee here, okay? And just in the middle here to start. Exactly the same setup. So same thing, you're gonna lift yourself up, put as much weight as you can on those hamstrings, and just up and down to start. So if you find again that it's still not enough for you, you can again elevate the surface. So put something underneath you, lift yourself up so you're another couple inches off the floor. But it's the same idea. That's what I'm trying to get across is you're rolling, just like with the foam roller, okay? You can shear, so side to side. And then you can't really do this on the floor, but you could do a version of this if you're elevated on a seat, for example, where you do some flexion of the knee and extension of the knee with the weight underneath your hamstring. I like the lacrosse ball if you're on the floor though, because you can get way deeper. So if you want to start with the middle guy here, I'm going to start up here towards my bum. And oh yeah, get on in there. Even just this, I can feel a few things, okay? But it's the same thing. Roll up and down, shear side to side. And then again, if you were up elevated on something where you could bend and extend the knee, that would be a version of smashing the hamstring tissue and golden. All right, keeping with the lacrosse ball here, we're just gonna move on up to glutes. Magical, magical tools for glutes. The glutes are so thick and so deep, remember there's more than one of them, that honestly, these are the best tools for getting in there. But don't get me wrong, love the foam roller, but it's just not going to get as deep as you need. So these guys are great. With the lacrosse ball, I like to get glute specific, so glute max. I'm gonna come up and basically sit on it, okay? So for some of you, and some people I've ever seen in my classes, they're screaming right now, okay? So don't put all your weight on the ball if you can't handle it, it's okay. But basically from here, you're just gonna make circles, okay? Oh my God, it feels so great. Everybody needs to do this more. So I'm just gonna do the shimmy, okay? I know it looks hilarious, but it feels really good. Try to avoid, rolling over your sit bone all the time. But basically, I'm trying to get up a little bit higher into the glutes. Oh yeah, it feels great. Circles, side to side, the best ever, okay? And then if you find a trigger point, which a lot of people do, kind of towards the upper part of their glutes, like more pure soreness style, pick up that leg and cross it over. So, oh, there it is. So I can just hang out here. Focus on your breathing. Yeah. And basically that's it. You're just trying to release it. And then once you're like, okay, that's about all I can handle, put that foot down and basically shimmy it out, okay? So lacrosse ball, great for the deeper guys, especially glutes. And then you could use the peanut for hip-related issues. So I only differentiate based on these tools. So what I mean is more for like the side of your butt, okay? So I like this one for loosening up the top part of my IT band, so my TFL attachment, my glute medius. So for example, I'm gonna lay on the side of my hip and my butt, right on the peanut here, and it's the same idea as the foam roller one, okay? And then same thing, I'm just gonna go up and down. Oh yeah, that gets so much deeper. And I'm basically just using my own leverage. So my arm and my leg, push and pull, up and down. Oh, it feels so good. And remember, you can play a bit, so you could try rolling forward a bit more. Oh yeah, we're right on the TFL there. Oh. And you can try rolling back a bit to get a little bit more of the glute in the back there, okay? But basically, fantastic exercise, loosening up the tight hips. So those are my favorites there. You can turn over, so you're gonna flip over and do quads. I don't know of anybody who could handle the lacrosse ball for quads. If you're a hero out there, you feel free, but I'm gonna show you the peanut. I think that's painful enough. So foam roller is great for quads. But again, this is portable too, and get a little bit deeper. It's the same thing, same setup, okay? So I'm just gonna basically get the top of my hip flexor in here, okay? And then it's the same thing. I'm just rolling up and down, okay? Remember your shearing is just side to side, okay? And then you can do that flexion and extension. So if I put all my weight, as much as I can, on that peanut, push down and then lift, it's like you're creating a false insertion point and stretching the tissue from the lacrosse ball downward, okay? But basically, don't forget to do it all. So you do your rolling, you do your shearing, and you do your flexion and extension. And it's exactly the same idea. Start from the top, do a couple of inches, everything, go down, do another couple inches, and go all the way down towards the knee. So because this isn't as big as a foam roller, you're gonna have to spend a little bit more time, but it is worth it. Oh, it feels so good. Last thing we're gonna do down here is the famous T-spine release with the peanut, okay? So this guy here is perfect position for you to put your spine right between. So if I lay on my back here, all right, I'm gonna start just at the top of my thoracic spine. So you're more than welcome to rest on the peanut on your occipital muscles up here, like in your skull, but you're not really going to do much rolling of your neck, okay? So be very careful with the neck. Some people just like to relax like this, for example. That's fine if that feels good for you. But generally speaking, you're going to start your rolling just towards T1 here, okay? So right at the top part of my traps. All right, so my spine's in the middle, starting on the traps here. Basically what I'm going to do is kind of extend backwards, flex upwards, and then I'm going to roll in between the next vertebrae. So this is going to take a little while, but you get the idea. So I'm right here, it feels great. I'm just going to relax over the ball. You can take your time with this too. And then I'm going to flex forward and keep your hands up here if you'd like. Oh, that feels so good. And then and again, lift my hips up, move about an inch, and do it again. So I'm just working my way towards the bottom of my thoracic spine, okay? Again, you're not making very big movements here, just over and up. Oh my God, it's the best ever. So just be careful, but my word of warning to you is that you don't go lower than T12, okay? Some of you are flexible and super fit, I'm sure, but the risk of injury, it goes up when you're past the thoracic spine, trying to do the lumbar spine, it just doesn't work, okay? So be careful. So this is about it for me. So over, oh, it feels so good. And then up and over, okay? It is magical. And if once you've done that, feel free, you can just use it as a roller. It's a lot more painful than a foam roller though, so I don't think I'd be going too crazy just for the traps here. And that's my favorite combo for the peanut and lacrosse ball on the ground. So next we're going to move towards the wall, and I'll show you how to do a few of these standing up, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to take the lacrosse ball to the wall, okay, and show you a few things that you can do standing. Sometimes it depends where you are, if you take the ball to work or you're just in an area where you can't get on the ground. At least there's a couple that you can do to give you some relief. So the first one I'm going to show you is my favorite of all time. It's a trap release. So basically like right in here, everybody gets tight there, right? So it's pretty basic for landmarking. Just do the best you can. I don't know how flexible you are, but hopefully you can get your arm up and over and try to get it somewhere in this muscular area, okay? A couple of rules here. You do not want to be on your spine at any point during this, okay? So if you're super flexible and you're already touching the middle of your back, just head on over, okay? Right in here. You'll know. Everybody has a knot there, I'm sure. But basically from here, I'm just going to push against the wall, okay? And I'm going to start with little circles. So, oh, it feels so good. So just little circles. I can feel that nasty knot right there, that's for sure. Just make sure that you're always breathing and make sure that you're always in control of the ball. Every once in a while at the gym, I'll watch somebody get like going nuts and crazy. I'm like, I don't know how that's doing you any favors, but take your time, breathe. If it's going to be painful, just lessen up. You don't need to lean so hard against the ball, right? But basically, once you started your small circles and you kind of get a good idea of how that's going to feel for you, you can start to make bigger circles. You can go side to side. And if you find a spot that's really sensitive or sore, hold it. So just deep breath in, deep breath out, and try to roll again. And same thing, if you come back to it and you find it again, oh, that already got rid of it, look at that. But let's say you do find it again. Oh yeah, there it is. And basically just try to relax into the pressure, okay? So always make sure you do both sides, okay? But just that, 20, 30 seconds there, I already feel so much better. Again, great tool for traps because they are fairly thick. Good place to start is always with the foam roller, but your next step would be something like this shape because it can get much deeper and just get that much more relief, okay? So trap trigger point therapy, if you will. The next thing I'm going to do is actually head right to glutes. So this is my other favorite one. So if you're standing up, you're going to start just kind of right here. So if this is, okay, the middle of your butt, you're going to start somewhere by your SI joint. So you don't want to be right on top of the SI joint, like up here. You kind of just want to be on the fleshy stuff, your bum tissue, right there. Okay? It's going to hurt if you're rolling on your SI joint. So if you're up here rolling on bony tissue, it might not be the appropriate kind of discomfort that you're looking for. So just make sure you're on muscle, okay? So just do yourself a favor. So starting kind of in the middle of my glute up at the top, I'm going to start with my side-to-side motion, okay? Now here are the rules. You can go as far as your bum crack, okay, for lack of professional words there, but you can go all the way over to your hip bone. So you could go as far as your hip and roll all the way back here. I like to take it in small pieces, so I'll usually just start with what I can do facing front. So just side to side, starting at the top. And then if I want to get more to the side, I'll just actually target that and do maybe 1 or 2 inches back and forth. So that feels pretty good. Oh my God, feels great. And then if I want to go a little bit lower, which I hope you do, get more right into the glute max here, you can make circles. So again, you're gonna look hilarious, doing some kind of weird dance move against the wall. If people don't know that you have a lacrosse ball there, it's pretty great at the gym. But same thing, you go side to side, up and down, make circles, whatever feels good. As long as it doesn't hurt in a bad kind of way, you're good. And remember, don't go over joints, all right? So basically that's it. The one last thing I like to do again is always glute medius or TFL. So if you're up against the wall here, I'll just back up a little bit, you can just hang out. So if you have a lot of T-band problems, for example, I work with a lot of runners, just hang out. Find those, oh yeah, there it is. Find these guys and you can just kind of gently roll back and forth or just hang out there. Don't be afraid to just hang out in 10, 20 seconds, okay? And then resume the rolling and just see how you feel, okay? Make sure you do both sides always. That's pretty much it there. I'm gonna head over here and show you pecs. So in our world with bad posture, okay, a lot of times they're telling people to strengthen their back and stretch their chest, okay? One way that you can help yourself is work on trigger points that you might have in your upper pec area, okay? So I usually like to work on pec minor, okay, which is kind of up here more, and a little bit into the anterior delt, so just in this area. The easiest thing that you could do is get up against the wall here, so I'll try to show you here, okay? And basically line it up, put some weight on the wall, and you can just start with the roll here. Be careful, remember it's your chest, so you're not gonna have a lot of room here. I want you to take your back arm and I want you to bring it up about a 45-degree angle, okay? And then from here, I'm basically going to roll a little bit. Oh my God, that feels good. And then from here, I'm gonna push and I'm gonna do some movements with my arms. So if you've ever heard of what's called a wall angel, it's kind of like a reverse wall angel where the arm's going up and down as I'm putting pressure on that lacrosse ball. I'm just gonna come to this side here to show you from here, but basically it's the same thing. So lining it up, putting it here, gonna bring my arm up here, and same thing, just up, oh my God, and down, okay? Take it easy here. But yeah, it feels so good. The last thing I wanna show you is feet though. So, before I kick off my stinky shoe, best thing in the entire world is to roll your feet. So, pretty basic, pretty easy, but basically make sure that you're using your lacrosse ball or a ball that you can wash so you're not inconveniencing all the people around you by putting your dirty foot on it. But basically, greatest tool of all time, roll your feet. So you're gonna make circles, you can go up and down the arch, side to side. There's not really a right or wrong way. I mean, I've read books that have direction and instruction, but general rule of thumb, if it feels good, go for it. Control how much weight you have on the ball, but anything goes here. So side to side, up and down, circles. I would say at least 1 minute. I think we usually do 1 or 2 minutes in general, but whatever works for you. But I promise you, if this isn't part of your routine already, it should be, and oh my gosh, you'll feel so good. It even usually helps your calves relax. So that's my spiel on how to use a lacrosse ball and a peanut. There are a few more different types of rolling exercises, if you will, out there, but those are the best ones, in my opinion, to get started with. And then you can always get a little fancier and get a little bit more specific as you get a little bit more experienced, okay? So anyway, have a good one, guys. Take care. I'm going to put my stinky shoe back on, and I'll see you guys next time.